is coming. Okay.
Please join. ఇప్పుడు వచ్చేట్లే ఏంటి సార్ మళ్ళీ ఏం లేదు.
Okay.
అవ్వదు ఇప్పుడు ఇప్పుడు చేసి ఫోటో తీసి కింద వస్తాను.
Okay.
చెప్పండి.
Okay. So, is it already now coming? Okay, right. So, let us quick recollection of whatever we discussed again. Okay. Right. Very good morning. So, one of the crucial topic of this week and the burning topic of the week is of Manipur, because Manipur is still burning. That violence is rampant. That's one side of it. And another side, which the social media revealed a video of the naked woman and the raping. So most inhuman aspects happening. And when you're thinking about this competitive point of view, the objective as well as the descriptives. So why it's happening? Who are the groups responsible? As I said, one is seeking reservation, another is opposing it. And each one why they are doing. That is one aspect. Second is why it crossed limits. So generally we use the word Lakshmana Rekha, right? Once it's crossed the limits, why it is. And what state government is doing. If state government failed, what central government is doing. And it looks like both the state and the central government failed to deliver its obligations in protecting the law and order and safety and security of the people. Then the judiciary, with all anguish, stepped in. So the question mark also is the judiciary had the power. It has taken suo moto. Nobody filed a case also. That's what we call suo moto, on its own. And the case is taken. So there are the few pertinent questions need to be addressed from our point of view. And very first question, when you say this, the main issue that's happening in Manipur is one is seeking reservation, another is opposing it, seeking the tribal status. And the group name is, as just now some friends point out, the Meiteis, M-E-I-T-Y. The Meiteis are seeking the tribal status, so the reservation of scheduled tribes. And it was opposed by the existing, the Kukis tribals. And these Kukis have their own reason, and Meiteis have their own reason. And Meiteis, they feel that, okay, to simplify, because last video we discussed in length, a quick recollection of those facts. Meiteis feel that already, once upon a time, otherwise we called in the British regime, they are the tribals. And in the independent Indian constitution, they are not. So now they want it. And the committees recommended it also. And recently, the High Court of Manipur asked the state government to expedite the process. And once it was opposed by the Kukis, they have their reason. Already the Meiteis are developed community. If that be the case, the fruits of reservations will go off from the very backward Kukis. They will be diluted and there will be more of dominance. And their fears, their apprehensions, otherwise called, looks real now. The way the violence is taking place, the way the Kukis are dying, the sufferings, and finally get affected rather than the Meiteis. So Meiteis still has an upper hand in the way. So when the constitutional issue is that when the state government failed so, the central government has to step in because it's the bounding constitutional obligation of the central government not only to protect and preserve the boundaries of the country but also of the law and order situation in the state. So, just now I posed the question under which article of the Indian Constitution, or whether it's in the Constitution or not, the central government has to step in or can step in. Of course, you have remembered one article called 356, 356. That 356, what is saying? If the state government failed to function in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution, right? If the state government failed to function in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution, then Article 356 can be invoked. This is what we call the presidential rule, the constitutional emergency. And when the state government is not functioning in accordance with the Constitution, how we know it? Generally, two issues: failure of maintaining law and order, like now, the protecting the life and security of the people includes there, or else the political uncertainty, no party in a position to form the government. So, generally, either of the two situations, the president's rule is imposing hitherto. And here that is very crystal clear. Then why it is not imposed? And generally, before imposing, because even the Sarkari Commission, the Supreme Court, number of times stated, right? Article 356 has to be utilized as a last resort. Okay. So steps need to be taken before, especially in this case of law and order. So central government has to step in, send its forces. And this is under Article 355. So this is right now invoked in Manipur. Okay, this article, yeah, right. Swati and Bhavani already mentioned this. Okay, good enough. So already the central government has done it, but still the situation is not under control, and unwanted things are happening. The burning houses, looting houses, and children or women become the soft targets at the part. So when still, though the political reason, when you say this is still the BJP, if at all other parties in power, definitely the union government has taken perhaps a different decision. And the criticism is also that the Prime Minister is maintaining absolute silence on that for a long time. Only the other day he opened his mouth, expresses anguishness over that. So what the steps has to be taken by central government? That's the one thing the Supreme Court finally sought, and given a little time, even the Chief Justice stated very clearly that they'll give a little time, not the too far. So here the question mark is, when the things are going, when nobody filed a case, right? This is what we call suo motu. On its own, the Supreme Court has taken a decision. Can it do so? Is the issue. So we have the concept called as judicial activism, right? So when the legislature and executive failed to fulfill its obligations, the court will raise the occasion and see that they will do their work. Okay, so as per the Indian Constitution, judiciary is independent from the branches of legislature and executive. Which article stipulated that judiciary should be separated from the executive? Anywhere in the Constitution? This is speaking of the independence of judiciary. So it should not be controlled neither by legislature nor by executive. Right. Jagan and Aparna, Himabindu, all is taking up Article 50. Okay, is a part of Directive Principles of State Policy. So Article 50, talking about this independent judiciary. So that clearly shows that yes, it is separated from it. And why the constitutional makers feel so is this, though we adopted the parliamentary system, wherein the legislature and executive branches go together. They depend on each other for its continuation. And if the party in power having absolute majority in the legislature, then the executive will dominate more. That is, the prime minister say prevail rather than the will of the legislatures. So some sort of a dominance, authoritarianism may prevail. So the judiciary has to be separated so that it will put the proper checks on the functioning of the government. When it is inactive, court will remind them of their obligations and force the executive to deliver it. That's the judicial activism. A number of things the court had raised the question, either by giving the new meaning to the existing things or by invoking the principle, what you call the principles of natural justice. And especially, court was authorized in this. Court has the power, the Supreme Court has the power. And most of its powers, especially, comes from Article 142. Once it invoked this power, anything it can address. Anything it can address. When nothing was mentioned in the constitution, yes, it can. When legislature executive failed, it can command them to deliver. Okay. So it requires the guts for the Chief Justice too. No doubt about it. Okay. So here, fortunately, that is happening. It is. And Article 142 was invoked regarding Ayodhya case, and recently number of issues that also we discussed in our previous videos. So Supreme Court once stated, now the common man hopes only one thing. Yes, the process will be speed up and definitely they will get justice. Okay, so let's wait and see how we can get the justice. So these few aspects just keep in mind, and for all the details, glance at our previous issues. Right? Who is the present Chief Justice? Okay, the should only, right? Then coming to the other few international issues, especially when the Manipur issue is going on, no doubt the development is an agenda for every country as a part of the northeastern countries. And India and northeastern states was linked with a small stretch of island, which we call Chicken Neck affectionately. But what is that corridor? Silguri corridor or Chicken Neck, we call it. And still, this northeastern states, they're backward in spite of endowed with innumerable natural resources. Plus, most importantly, tourism is plenty. And Manipur, especially, is an abode of, we can say, number of students population, right? The medical and other students, even from Telangana, AP, you will find innumerable educational parties also apart from this. But there is a problem of development, the infrastructure facilities, because the terrain, right, when it's hilly terrain and everything is concerned, it has its own constraints, no doubt. And for that, we cannot develop on our own without we looking into or without we having the cooperation with other countries. And especially the neighbors of India, we required a lot. So northeastern development will happen through it. Okay, and with that, we have few organizations, associations like SARC, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. But it so happens that because of the Pakistanis, uh, in a way of reluctance to go along with India, the SARC is in a coma stage right now. So we don't know when it will woke up. So India, instead of completely undoing SARC, now actually encouraging the BIMSTEC. It want to give a life to the BIMSTEC. Now the meeting is shortly in the month of November. It is going to take place. And as a prelude to that, the foreign ministers meeting was held recently in a Thailand's capital, right, Bangkok. And actually, the meeting, this is a foreign ministers meeting, but the main meeting is going to take place in the November 2023. Same thing in the Bangkok. As a prelude to that, now we have the meeting part. So, what is the full form of BIMSTEC? Hmm? Of course, here we are given way back founded 1997. Okay, and if you see this, Bangladesh, okay, Bhutan, India, okay, Myanmar, they're all BIM stack, okay, yes, for Sri Lanka. So once upon time, it was started with an abbreviations of each country. But now that the membership get expanded, its acronym changed to Bay of Bengal. So B stands for the Bay of Bengal. So as we have the parties concerned, yeah. So Bay of Bengal, like in the ocean, Pacific, right? Or littoral countries. The similarly, for this Bay of Bengal, as Indian Ocean, so the Bay of Bengal and Arabian, India was bounded. And the same thing with other countries. So whoever be on the littoral of the Bay of Bengal, so they wanted to make it as an initiative. So Bay of Bengal initiatives, all the littoral countries of the Bay of Bengal. What for? For economic cooperation. So when you use the word economic cooperation, in which areas? In multi-sectoral and technical. So they specified is the thing. So keeping in view it objects, now its acronym is there rather than and everything. Okay. So here we call this Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical Economic Cooperation. Okay. So founded in the year, and right now the 7 countries are the members of this. And this is how this maps the 7 countries looks like. Okay. So very first summit also held in Thailand only. So when you say this overall, the India which is concerned, Nepal, the Bhutan, all the countries, right? The Myanmar. Here we have the Thailand, and very neighbors is Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. So India wanted to treat this, okay, as an alternative to SARC, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. Now giving a priority to the activities of the BIMSTEC. For India, it's a live breath now, and especially for these northeastern states, which is the Manipur is also part of it. BIMSTEC, we wanted to give the very clears. And this BIMSTEC accounts It says 22% of the world population and combined GDP of 2.7 trillions and one fourth of the world trade goods across this Bay of Bengal. So that itself is the thing is concerned. And overall, they focused on the six areas. So as a trade, technology. Technology is very much there in the name itself. Then now this is very crucial, the energy and both renewable and non-renewable. Now focusing more on non-renewable and especially solar, wind. Okay, because there's all hilly regions and all the part is concerned to promote in a way. Then, as the Bay Bengal is the wind energy. So, the focused on these issues and transportation, no doubt, very crucial. And this tourism is a source of income also. Apart from the peoples to people contact will enhance very much with that. So, the infrastructure has to be developed in this month. And when you say the SAARC, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, there, this Myanmar is not there. Thailand is not there, right? Only up to here. So, the BIMSTEC, in a way, is the link between the South Asian countries and the Asian grouping. So, these are all part of Asian grouping, isn't it? What is Asian? Association for Southeast Asian nations. How many countries? Sure? Only 10 or any other increase of 10th one? After 10, any increase? So we discussed first class also on this, okay? Okay. So, with the link it is. And with this, we wanted to have a relation with the Asian countries. So, it's a bridge. BIMSTEC in a way is a bridge between the South Asian and Asian countries, or a link for India towards an Asia. And once our focus is on Asian countries, this reminds us another policy. Now we called it as an Act East. So previously, look become Act East policy. So that's the reason why the BIMSTEC become very crucial from Indian point of view. So now that meeting is on, and you have to remember all the countries' names because recent examinations clearly show which of the following country is a member, is not a member. Okay. So advisable to have it all the things. So summit is going to be held in Thailand only. The very first summit was held there, and now present summit is also going to be held in Thailand. So that itself is a significant in this when the month of November. So present meeting is of foreign secretary level. So this is a point which you have to keep in mind. Then of course, in continuation of it, because right now our foreign minister touring all the way attended. In addition to that, he too attended and the 12th meeting of this Mekong Ganga cooperation. Okay, we call this as MGC meeting. So Mekong is a river. When it's a Ganga is a river. Easily we can understand this. Mekong is also a river. That means this grouping is a combination of two rivers. Okay, Ganga goes to India. Mekong, will it touch India? Mekong River? No, isn't it? Mekong River never flows through Indian territory. Ganga will flows in a way. So this sort of the merger, these two rivers combination, they wanted to. So which of the countries on the banks? And Ganga is mainly of India. Mekong, what are the countries? So finally, they're going to have the cooperation. Apart from this, okay, water related, because the rivers part is concerned, water is crucial. And from the water, you can generate the power, isn't it? In addition to that part. And India is going to render helping hand for construction of the dams as well as the power projects there, which it is doing in already the Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, all the part. Of course, no doubt China is also competing in a way. So this sort of the regional cooperation is essential. Bay of Bengal, so all the Bay of Bengal countries need not be of Mekong. Again, the few more different countries. This is what India economically we wanted to adopt a multi-alignment rather than non-alignment. Non-alignment is a political agenda, neither with America or Russian blocs, once upon the concept, and want to be independent. But when you use a multi-align, here we need to have a cooperation with as many countries as possible. Now it's an economic agenda, not a political agenda. So that difference you have to keep in mind. So with that it is. And the infrastructure, either in the BIMSTEC or in the MGC, the most important thing is we need to develop the infrastructure. And part of infrastructure, the roads are very important. So like we have the state highways, national highways, the international highways too. And one of the highway, and they wanted to make it is India, Myanmar, Thailand. IMT, right? India, Myanmar, Thailand, trilateral. Okay, all the three countries highway. This is now we're also calling Asian Highway as a part of Asian Highway. So they wanted to give the fillip to this, and there's a lot of discussion on this. So BIMSTEC as well as MGC is focusing on this trilateral highway. So now that they wanted to extend this trilateral highway to Cambodia, Laos, as well as the Vietnam. So right now, three countries. Now, why don't we extend to all the six nations of the members of the Mekong Ganga cooperation? Already three is there. Extending is only important. So this is an advantage of having a grouping, especially economic grouping. Economic grouping, the focus itself is on what? The cooperation, based on the principles of equity and mutual benefit. So, quick recollection, it's a combination of the six countries, and the focused on a tourism, culture, education, transport, and communication. These are the focused areas of this part is concerned. As I tell you already, the both this, okay, Ganga and Mekong, which we call as the civilizational rivers in a way. So to increase this people-to-people contact is very crucial in this river basin. And with that, the cultural and commercial linkages both will go together. And in this, one fact you have to keep in mind is 5 Asian countries are the members. Whereas the BIMSTEC, 2 Asian countries, right, are the members in the BIMSTEC. What are those? Myanmar and Thailand. Here, now the two become increased to 5. So almost all 50% of these Asian countries we are having touch with this. The cooperation otherwise also. So our actist policy will get the fillip in this issue. And last time we have the group 1 mains as well as civils mains. Number of times this question appears under what is this actist policy. What is the strategic significance of actist policy? In what way it is beneficial to India? What are the steps taken by India in furtherance of its actist policy? Like the different sort of the questions arises on this. So once the Mekong Ganga cooperation, the wording is also very clear: economic, cultural, dialogue is concerned. So this is how the map looks like. Okay, the India, when this Ganga River, right, the part, and here the Mekong started from the China. Okay, it flows in a way. There's no any direct link between the Ganga and the Mekong. Only the nations are the link here. Though from this you have the canals will pass on, and the Bangladesh, most of this be to the Bengal, and these rivers back to here, the agglomeration. Though there's no direct linkage in this. Now this river starts from China. Is it China is also a member of Mekong Ganga? And recently one examination, which of the following is not, and one of the China, and some students mentioned that say China is not perhaps. Okay, so sometimes no, we will guess, and something else we not there. Is it China is a member? Sure, we'll back to one more question. Yeah, East Timor. The Swati mentioned correctly regarding the number of countries of Asian countries. So right now there are 11. No doubt once is a 10. East Timor in the last meeting, they are in principle agrees to take the East Timor. So it's going to be a member. Then this is how the Mekong River passed on from one country, almost all in the mid of this, the countries in a way. So very crucial for India and the countries, and for India's main this northeast development, both the BIMSTEC as well as the Mekong operation is very crucial. And to pursue our Actist policy, which is mainly meant again for the development of the northeastern states. Okay, we go on this. So quick recollection of this Actist policy, because it was initially the Lookist policy by initiated by the former Prime Minister of India, P.V. Narasimha Rao, way back 1991. So after the Modi's arrival, he named what just looking, let us act. So the change of the nomenclature from 2014 onwards, that's main thing. So when you say that it is nothing but an diplomatic initiative to enhance India's engagement, especially the countries of East Asia, particularly Asian member states. Main focus is on that. Similarly, now there's a focus on this Asia Pacific region as well. So further increasing the Actist policy onwards. Okay, as I said, so 1991 and this 2014, this become Actist policy. Okay, then this is all the Asian countries. If you look at so Myanmar, Thailand, which you are finding. In addition to this, the Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, these are all part of the Mekong Ganga cooperation. Then, of course, to the Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, Philippines, in the structure. So we wanted to have more cooperation with these countries. So both from the objective as well as the descriptive point of view, very important issue. Okay. Then coming to the next item, again the water linked. The Indus Water Treaty again in the news. So number of times we discussed this, but still they're relevant all the time. So Indus Water Treaty is between India and Pakistan. In which year it was concluded? 16. Sure. Who was the Prime Minister of India and Pakistan at that time? Pakistan President or Prime Minister? Because now the questions are asking like this, right? If you observe it, the civils are the thing. Okay. Previously, they never used to be asked like this in a way. So check once again. Okay. 60, of course, is a Jawaharlal Nehru, right? Still the prime minister. Because even 62 at the Indo-China war, he only. But when Indo-Pakistan war 65, is a Lal Bahadur Shastri. So even knowing the few things, you can conclude from the Indian point of view, 68 it is. Then who of the Pakistani side? So first question is the prime minister or the president? Because we don't know who will be the real ruler in Pakistan, isn't it? Is it a democracy or authoritarian? Okay, so or military junta rule. So everything is possible in Pakistan all the way, anytime. So quick recollection of this, okay? So check it and tell me in a way. So here, the recently regarding this, so the Pakistan constituted the court of arbitration. So that's an issue here. So India feel that it is illegal and mainly constituted just to internationalize the matter rather than resolving the issue through peaceful means as such. And the main concern of the Pakistan is regarding Kishan Ganga as well as the Ratel hydroelectricity project on the tributaries of Indus River. Huh? Ayub Khan, right, is the president. Right, right. So Pakistani president at the time, Ayub Khan. And the Indus Water Treaty, even today, when you say it's considered the first international water treaty. And we Indians, even especially now, criticize this treaty because we have given more to Pakistan. But Pakistan still not happy with it. Is a concern. And there's a demands now and then that let you put off the treaty or fresh negotiations. Already we issued an order, asked the Pakistan to initiate the process of fresh negotiation on this. But instead of that, they invoke the concept of court of arbitration. Here, one point I wish to make it very clearly. Whenever a dispute occurred between two countries at the international level, generally, the court that we look into is ICJ, right? International Court of Justice. Any one country can file a case. That means general, any affected party will file a case in International Court of Justice. Where is this International Court of Justice? Huh? Hague? Sure. Hague is in which country? Sure. Netherlands or Holland? Or both are the same? Okay. Then how many judges in ICJ? 15. 1-5 or 50? 1-5. Okay. 15 judges elected for a period of 9 years. And any Indian now? Bhandari. Okay, presently it is there. And Nagendra Singh was the first. I mean, once you heard this, the few quick recollection is always advisable. Because that only your studies become complete. Okay. So 2-3 times if you recollect it, if you find it difficult, check it. Check it. That's it. That will be there for you forever. Wonderful revision that is going to be. Okay. And the reason why every one of us we ask you should read the newspaper is that reading the newspaper is an art. Okay. Don't read like a novel. Just read for the sake of reading. You may read one or two articles only, but see that you can do it in a way. So generally we'll file for this. So any country affected can file a case. But what is this court of arbitration? It is nothing but a tool for mediation, an alternative dispute settlement mechanism, we otherwise called as. So instead of we go to the court, because court will take its own time, why don't both the parties come together and refer the matter? Got it now? Both the parties has to come together and refer the matter to the third party to deliver the judgment. Okay? For example, two of you are fighting. Then another friend will come in, right? Then you said, okay, finally tell me whatever you said, we'll follow. This is something like this. Okay? Therefore, that is an arbitration. And the industry has created this mechanism. In case of any dispute, it is both the countries can refer the matter to the court of arbitration. And here, court of arbitration is not a permanent one. We have to choose the judge. For example, if India chooses a judge, Pakistan will choose judge, another country is a neutral judge. So minimum 3 members will be there. They do deliver. And of course, already we have the permanent court of arbitration. From that pool of judges, we'll choose it, depending upon the countries. So, the nature of arbitration is what? Both the countries together has to approach arbitration. Here, the Pakistan unilaterally constituted this. When that's the reason why we call this once unilateral on its own. Okay, everything is concerned. So it's of no use. And the award, the judgment of this court of arbitration is called as award. This award has to be followed because both of us referred. If only one referred, it's not legal. It's not, there's no need for adhering to. That's what China did when the Philippines, right, approached the permanent court of arbitration and that delivered judgment. China said, arbitration is arbitration. You have to, the basic of arbitration is both the countries has to file a case. If you go alone, if the court delivers judgment, we cannot adhere to. The spirit is also very important. So in this case, we said it's an illegal on this issue. So the main issue is of this Kishan Ganga and Ratil hydroelectricity project. And you know pretty well, okay, when you this rivers, right? The Indus, Chenab, Jhelum, ICJ. They're all we call as eastern or western rivers. To the western side of India or eastern side of India. So physically they are the western side, right? As they are on the western side, we call them western rivers. And when you say this Ravi, Sutlej, and Bias, so now we can say this our BRS. Huh? Okay. TRS become BRS. So once you made it up is concerned, order may be anything, okay? Though the bias in this is concerned. Ravi and Sutlej. This we call as an eastern rivers. So as per this treaty, the complete water was assigned to the, we can say the 100% of water attained to the Pakistan. Here, the 100% of the water assigned to India. Out of 6, equal division. As simple. And all the rivers, right? Finally, if you look at, merge with this Indus, and this ending stage is completely of Pakistan only. Right? This is all Indian borders. Ends there. So for your information, all this where this line of control, Siachen Glacier. So line of control, this one, right? When you say this, what this is actual boundary of India and Pakistan. But this part, Gilgit Baltistan, right now in Pakistan, and this part we call the POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So 1948 war, when this line of control is a de facto border right now. So here itself, when you make it up, when the de facto part, from here itself it is there. So most of the river, if you take this part also as if in reality, the de facto in Pakistan is that. So we feel that okay, let it be so. So it was assigned. But at least it's passing to this Kashmir, okay, Chenab and Jhelum mainly. So India can, because the water is going, right? And looking at least we can drink, utilize for the agriculture purpose. We can construct dams, but we are not allowed to do so, isn't it? We are not allowed to do so. The treaty put an end. No commercial use of water. You may drink, cattle may drink. That's it. It can't be used. But it can be used only for the power generation. Because power generation, water you will divert. Again that water go back to river, the remaining water. So it can be used only for the power generation. And for that purpose, we have the projects we are constructing. As is permitted, but the question mark is for power generation, we have to divert the water, stock the water, okay, store the water. That itself is a concern of the Pakistan. So once you are doing so, Pakistan feel that it get affected, its agriculture get affected, industries get affected, there's shortage of water all the way. And there's always regularly permanent commissioners from India side and Pakistani side. Whenever the issue occurs, regularly they will meet. When they fail, then only refer to the court of arbitration. But in this case, it's not happening. So though the rivers flows from it, we are not using it. And India is the only country where you have treaty. For example, Brahmaputra originate from China. Now the Tibet, of course, under China. We don't have any treaty. Only is a general memorandum of understanding, MOU. Okay? Nothing like this. So rarely you will find this sort of interest treaties, and this treaty was brokered by World Bank. Okay? So whenever the issue arises, World Bank used to step in. And last time we discussed in length also these issues. Actually, World Bank restrained the Pakistan not to go ahead like this sort of thing. But still, in spite of it, Pakistan has gone ahead on this issue. And especially after this terroristic incidents, we feel that the blood and water should not go together. So put off it. The reason why we wanted to rethink on this issue. So, as I said just now, so under this treaty, when this Article 11 of this Settlement Disputes, Indus Water Treaty of 1960, the Court of Arbitration can be constituted if both the parties, okay, this is what the most part agree the issue on this, okay, and interpretation of it be, or if it is a neutral experts also can be referred to it. So already the World Bank preferred the neutral expert committee. There's a proceedings are on. It just Pakistan ignored those things and going ahead. So we considered it as unwanted, unwarranted, and nothing but this is considered the parallel intervention as such, and it's an unilateral. So India wants modification of the treaty. So, what India's concern is also, rather than Pakistan really concerning it, it is using it as the political maneuver rather than anything else. So, whenever some issue at the domestic level, they are raising and try to divert the attention all the way. Okay. So, this is the how this reverse, okay, crystal clear again, okay, to show you part. Right? So, any doubts on this? Because I summarized because number of times we discussed on the issue, the minimum discussion. Any questions? Then, coming to our relations with Bangladesh, no doubt we are the very good, and Bangladesh originated, no doubt, with the help of India, and right now the good relations is going on. And current affairs part, we are the first transnational power project. Okay, this is India's first. So whenever be the arises of the first, an important from exam point of view, it was commissioned, and this is a 1600 megawatts of ultra supercritical project, and the plant was located in the Jharkhand state of Godha, and main purpose of it is to supply the power to Bangladesh. Of course, that was represented by Bangladesh Power Development Board. So within 3.5 years, we are able to finish this. So it's one of the milestone. And when you say this, rather than India first, neighbor first, okay? So when it's neighborhood first policy, priority, no doubt we are giving. Okay? So that relationship we want to strengthen, and it's in the process now. And another organization, again in the news, is CPTP. This is nothing but the comprehensive and progressive agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. You have the TPP. Later, it was renamed as CPTPP. Now, why? Because UK has formally agreed to become the member of CPTPP, and by that is the first European country. That means so far the European countries are not part of this. Now they wish to be on this. So actual TPP is the 12 countries, okay, when you say the TPP. But as the US withdraw, it become 11. So US said no to this treaty, so it become 11 nations. Okay, right now Japan is leading in a way. So this Australia, Brunei, Canada, Chile, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Peru, Singapore, and Vietnam, they are the members of this. So this was finally signed in 2018. That's what it was. It succeeded Trans-Pacific Partnership, and during the previous president Donald Trump era, it was withdrawn. Okay, 2017, they came out from this one. And remember, all this except America, okay, part is concerned right now is not there. All the 11 countries are members of APEC also, Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. It is a Chinese-led economic bloc here, Asia Pacific. When Asia Pacific countries is a Chinese-led, Chinese domination become more, America is of the opinion that to have a more cooperation among the countries, it should be out from that. But they kept the APEC as it is and initiated another one, minus China. Okay, main purpose is they wanted to minus China. With that purpose, TPP was initiated by America only, with the 12 countries, all or APEC countries only. It's an American-led TPP rather than thing. But when America itself withdrew, but still other countries wanted to go ahead, so they renamed that as CPTTP. There is a comprehensive and progressive part is concerned. Main related, right? The food safety regulations and another relating to the transfer of data, etc., are very crucial for them. And overall, the market access is very important for this grouping. So now the UK is going to be the new member. So once UK entered, that became 12. Okay, formally agreed. The process has to be done. So by next year, it will be done. So this is all the members. When you say this orange color comes under CPTTP members, and when this US pulled out, and all are other APEC country members. Okay. So this APEC quick recollection is a forum of 21 countries and formed way back 1989. So need not worry about all these countries. Just have a glance once again. So all the countries, right? So though US withdraw become the formality, number of organizations is getting withdrawing. Like this, the latter it may re-enter. Like it is few years back, it was withdrawn from UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific, Cultural Organization, a UN specialized agency on the promotion of science culture. So once withdraw means you are not going to fund it. But now the new government feel up, yes, it's going to rejoin again. So now UNESCO may be blessed with more funds on this issue. So both Israel and America, they withdraws mainly in the Israel especially it protested against the Palestinians was given an status as a member in United Nations organization. So Palestine is not a strictly speaking a state, but how you will give, how you will recognize the Palestine as a state. So there is an issue on this issue. Okay. So US and Israel both stopped financing UNESCO after it voted to include Palestine as a member state in 2011. So now it's planning to back. Then another other issue and general discussion is on ICC, International Criminal Court. It is. So the wording itself is clear when the criminal court something the crimes against humanity has taken place. This court will look into, and number of countries ratified only is applied to that countries. And here why it is in the news, because rarely you will find, okay, or rarely you will heard this one. Shortly the BRICS summit is going to take place in South Africa. Okay, BRICS stands for hmm? So BRICS meeting is going to take place. BRICS means is a grouping of 5 countries. B for Brazil. Okay, so Russia or for India, China, and South Africa. So these 5 countries right now every year they are going to hold the meeting, and this time meeting is going to take place in South Africa. So there is a concept that okay, once Russia-Ukraine war is on, And European countries, America and others, they considered it's the war against humanity, and a number of people are dying, and because of the actions of the President Putin. So the criminal court, the case was once filed, is nothing but some sort of a genocide, okay, killing the people in a way it is concerned. So it issued the arrest warrant. So the first time, right, when it's head of the state, arrest warrant. And the member countries, once you visit, they have to arrest it. Russia is not a member of ICC. It has not ratified this. Even America is not a member, not ratified. And for that matter, India is also not a member of it. But South Africa is. It ratified. So once it is on the soil, technically speaking, the South Africa has to arrest it. So on theory it is rather than the reality. And so far it able to function only small countries. Though innumerable cases are before it's hardly the few cases only it's able to address it. And if South Africa failed to do so, nothing it can do it. And if South Africa withdraw from the treaty, nothing it can do it. So though the reality is different, okay, and arresting that sort of the person is again is not a joke, we can say. But still, law is the law, rule is a rule if you thinkly thinking. So as per this, the South Africa has to do till it is a member, until it is the thing of ICC, it has to do that. So there is speculation on this end. So the thing it is. So this ICC will look to prosecute the persons on genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and as well as aggression. So all these issues are there. So in 23 March itself, it issued the warrants. Then, of course, coming to national, recently there's a much talk about rupee, internationalizing the rupee. Even India, UAE entered into India, Russia trade, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, most of the things happening in the rupee terms. So, if at all in the prelims or the mains point of view, quick points, okay, the keep in mind is that why this is a one part of point of de-dollarization. You are moving away from giving priority to dollar. You are not evaluating your currency on par with the dollar. Okay, so swapping currency. So according to local currency you are dealing with. So you are ignoring dollar and the advantages. So that from the mains or the prelims point of view, there are the few 5 points I feel advisable for you to make note. So increased economic independence, diversification of international reserves, boost to the Indian rupee, increased trade and investment, and reduced transaction costs. So the crucial points which you have to keep in mind, apart from others. Then recently the Niti Aayog has come up with the National Multidimensional Poverty Index. So that itself is a multidimensional. So poverty in India, the measured in terms of either two, the food intake, the nutritious food, how much calories you are taking, and if you measured in terms of income. But now a different criteria they are taken, and with that they said poverty is very minimum in India. Okay, so what the full form of Niti Aayog? Niti, National Institute of Transforming India, because always it is. And who is the chairperson? The Prime Minister. The thing is concerned, right? So this is the second edition on this issue, and the indicators or this mainly three core indicators: health, education, and standard of living. They are the three core areas. Then, about this, these are the three: nutrition, child and adolescent mortality, and maternal health will be at the part of health. Regarding education, years of schooling, as well as school attendance, one third, one third, one third weightage was given. on this issue. Then standard of living, you have taken 7 benchmarks as the criteria. The cooking fuels, sanitization, then we have the drinking waters, housing, electricity, assets, even the bank account here was added. And these very important indicators you have to keep in mind, because in the examinations, right, which are the following, which are the following is not. And from mains point of view, everything you have to mention. Okay, you have to take care of those indications. Right. So, of course, there are the few, when you say this highlights part is concerned, India has registered a decline of 9.89 percentage of numbers. Okay, so there is a decline. That means India is marching towards development, and the poor are getting low and low. Okay, so right now it is at the 14.96 percentage. So from exam point of view, this sort of percentages you need to be aware of it. Previously, it's a 24.89 and decline of 9.89%. And rural areas witness the fastest decline vis-a-vis with urban areas is concerned. And states, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan, all you will find a decline, and mainly the Uttar Pradesh, the largest decline of the numbers as per this. Okay, so a lot was thing. So it's all top 5 states with the highest share of population with the multi-dimensional poverty. Okay, how it be all this ones. Okay, if you look at all the state-wise map. Okay, so Telangana made it to 6.8. When it comes to the Andhra, it is 44.5. Still is poor. Okay. So take the snap of it and look at all the states' information in a way. Okay. Then another though issue is that's a small issue look like, but recently the political parties donations we got it, and BJP almost all got the donation of okay 10,122 crores of part is lakhs crores in a way it is concerned, the highest part. Here one word, you have the donation comes to this electoral bond, corporation donations, other donations. So other things. What is this electoral bond? This is number of times happened recently, appeared in our TSPSC exams as well. Hmm. Hmm? Through bank. Which bank? Any bank? Only through the SBI. It is something like a DD. On the DD, your name is there? Your name is not there. To whom you are giving, that name is there. Isn't it? Same thing here. Now you are giving to TSPSC one DD or TSPC only, not your name. So though you have taken, you may give to somebody also. That somebody may use it. That okay, it's some sort of a banker check. So you can give that one. Okay, all the denomination. So just keep that in mind, and for overall analysis. So when you say the BJP is where and other parties are where, isn't it? Even regarding this, so finally the BJP is able to muster. Even Congress hardly at this Okay, 952, less than 1,000 is a 5,000. Okay, not even one fifth of it. Okay, so NCP, BSP, these parties not at all opened any account at all regarding electoral bonds. At least they have some other sources of incomes. Okay, then last one, we have the NDA India. These things are going on. So even there is a controversy visa with the using the India, though they have given a different acronym for India. Okay, Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance. So it's a combination of right now 26 parties, whereas NDA already existing 38 parties. So Congress has put off its old alliance. What is that? Previously Congress-led alliance, UPA. So that was no more now, and the new alliance. And of course, now subject to the court judgment as well in future, because already number of cases were filed. So we have to wait and see whether this sort of using the country name, though they have given a different meaning for that, how far it is legal. Though when it's advisable, not at all advisable. But still, they want to make it as a catchy, and the emotions attachment, okay, a psychological attachment they have to play in a way, so it looks like in that concept rather than the issue. So we have to find and see this, who is going to, whether when the NDA or the thing is concerned, when this NDA already here, only two eyes are there different. Okay. So but anyhow, let us wait and see how it be, the ruling parties and these things just keep in mind. So that's all for today. So any doubts, clarifications? Nick? Right. So thank you very much. See you next week. Bye.